Okay, then let's arrive and act as if we weren't here. Okay, I will mute everyone now. Unmute for any awakening emergencies. Only half a joke, right? 'Cause sometimes when we start paying attention at this level, we get a little overwhelmed. Like, wow, there's more crap in there than I even could imagine. I'm preaching to the choir. All of you are pretty serious practitioners and are already awakening to that. So just don't don't start meditating or anything like that. Just brighten the mind. Just brighten. Just the movement still. There's still a room around you. Notice the people that are coming in this room with us, and just noticing. Maybe taking that first step into the witness. Right. I am that which knows my experience. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting because we get that insight that maybe all appearance or all phenomena are appearing in the changeless, timeless space of pure consciousness. And then it kind of shifts. It's still somewhat of an identity shift because now, oh, I'm the changeless space of consciousness, which is really where, that's what I still feel. I feel really a little bit of that duality in there. Oh, spaciousness, right? So that's where we point at, like, oh, don't sit in the blissy, spacious hot tub. It's like we let go even more from there. But we'll play with that in our practice today, and you in your own practice too. Just paying attention to that, the identification with the spaciousness. There's still something there. So that model still contains the possible dualism of there being stuff called appearance or phenomena, like a content, and that kind of appears without any seductive qualities in this other stuff called pure consciousness. Wow, how is that, right? So as this then becomes more apparent, this subtle duality can drop away completely when it's seen that the phenomena are not appearing in pure consciousness, but rather that the phenomena are appearing as momentary occurrences of pure consciousness. So my thoughts are awareness, my feelings are awareness, my emotions are awareness, my sights are awareness, all sounds and anything that arises, even the apparently substantiality of the wooden table or the screen in front of me, we can still only say, I've always only been the knowing of my experience. And I might have different sense gates through which I experience it, but there is just a shimmering energy out there which kind of coagulates into apparent form and a space of knowing. So let's take a breath together and immediately just be the space of knowing and just sit there as the knowing playfully, including little subtle doubts and what is it that I'm reaching for, and any subtle reaching, all of that. Instead of like, we can say drop it all. The dropping is also being conscious of it. Being conscious of any movement or any little bit of duality is already a form of um, of of dropping. So yes, awakening. That's what Buddha. I mean, it's the awakened one. So in what way was he awake? He was awake in a sense that was completely all here. So when we sometimes speak about people that appear to not be all with it, or they are off, or they are not completely here, um, or we say you're not all that. Our whole culture, our whole civilization, as it's involved with time and living only for a future, is a bit off. It's not completely here, right? A culture that is always living into this, leaning into the future, is not awake. And therefore we come together because we like this little light beacon, like for all beings to, become completely alive now. Because all beings are, all humans, I can't speak of all beings because I don't know all beings in the universe, but we notice all humans around us are so hungry and insatiable because everything appears tasteless. Because when lost in in thought and feelings and emotions, we only taste the very surface of experience, and we don't even get to experience. We are living from a conceptual dreaminess. So then we reach for that which has not yet come to be, and we don't know what really is. And in that moment, we overlook the unfathomable beauty of what is appearing now, even the beauty of the unwanted. And we lose all connection with the stream of being, and we are completely lost in that dream theater called the not now. So then awakened awareness practices help us to no longer identify with the routine personal identity egoic mind, the fabricated self, which is just a mosaic of thoughts and feelings and emotions. So awakened awareness, or Rigpa, open spaciousness, is not a noun or an identity. It's just a process which we misidentify for who we are. And this mistaken identity we call often me, the thought-created psychological self. So when we do not recognize being with a capital B, we have fallen asleep within our own competence. And when we identify with the incredible perpetual movement of ideas, habits, neuroses, opinions, beliefs and judgments, then we mistakenly identify as self. We end up hopelessly trapped in these limiting beliefs. So unveiling our first step into awakening, realizing that I am awareness prior to experience, is the great relief. So when you're all practicing in this open spaciousness, realize that when you start teaching your environment from there through your behavior or deliberately, that it always has to come from that openness. And it's okay when we get others around us to come to sit in this witness seat, although that's only the first step, or 50%, the playfulness or the jokiness of talking about that. But that is world peace already. And then really what is so incredibly beautiful is that we come to realize that maybe the most cherished or beloved experience in our lives is inner peace. Because regardless of how many things we acquire in this world, no matter what or how much, it does not really mean that much. So that's why we keep coming back to this room, because we're really feeling into what matters. And that is awakening. And then we expand that energy of that intent boundlessly on behalf of all beings. And when we expand that compassionate intent, it also expands our ambitions boundlessly. We will then find that this intent starts infiltrating everything we do and wish for. All our activities are now about what we can mean for inner peace of all beings and the peace of our world in specific. You'll find then that your energy proliferates because you're employing the energy of the entire universe. The entire universe will come to your support to realize your endeavors, your goals, and aspirations, because your aspirations appear on behalf of the universe, not on behalf of the individual. So let's allow our aspirations, whatever they may be, to enlarge and multiply and make sure that they arise for the purpose of serving the whole and not just the one. We then learn to give ourselves permission to abide by those ambitions, and this amazingly beautiful cosmic response of the universe comes to our benefit, and circumstances and people will suddenly appear on our path and help in many ways to realize our aspirations and compassionate dreams. Notice that when you come to this space, that every person on this Zoom call has that same aspiration, and just by appearing in this collective, that is the sudden appearance of help in your aspirations. You're not alone in that aspiration. So that's the depth and the beauty of the Sangha. So let's set our intent for awakening on behalf of the awakening of all beings and world peace or cosmic peace. So let's take a breath and set that intent. Really feel into it. I wish to awaken for the benefit of all beings. We wish to awaken for the benefit of all. So just being present, shifting into a deeper or higher mode of awareness, shifting into a higher mode of awareness perception, just brightening, opening, presencing, just a stream of spontaneous being. And then the playfulness of us on our seat that says, I am. I am in this world. I'm of this world. And I am to be compassionate. Is this action on behalf of all beings? And then in this moment, on this Zoom call, we all can fully feel in our hearts, yes, it is. From now on, until reaching perfect awakened Buddhahood, for the benefit of all sentient beings, without exception, we shall practice the 6 perfections wholeheartedly, day and night. Sentient beings are numberless, we vow to liberate them. Delusions are inexhaustible, we vow to transcend them. Dharma teachings are boundless, we vow to realize them. The Buddha's enlightened way is unsurpassable, we vow to embody it. In the empty and open spacious essence, the radiantly lucid nature, and the manifesting compassionate loving responsiveness, we take refuge by recognizing and resting in this threefold innate Buddhaness on our seat, That is the true nature of mind. May all beings possess happiness and the inner causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the inner causes of suffering. May all beings remain undivided from the sacred joy which is free from suffering. May all beings come to rest in great peace and equanimity, beyond attachment and aversion to friends, enemies, or strangers. Om Ahung Benzargu Pe Mai Siddhi Hung. Om Ahung Benzargu Pe Mai Siddhi Hung. Resonating straight from awakened awareness. Om Ahung Benzargu Pe Mai Siddhi Hung. 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 Softly, gently. Om Ahung Benzargu Pe Mai Siddhi Hung. 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 Dissipating of the sound, unveil your luminous presence. Sounds, feelings, emotions, perceptions, sights come and go, yet always I'm here. Here-ness. Please notice the unchanging right here-ness of the ever-present, knowing space of awareness, of beingness. It doesn't resonate in time. It's the backdrop or the canvas and the space that allows for appearance, including that beautiful appearance on your seat. In all its luster. Even if your luster today is some boredom, some fear, some separateness. Don't identify with it. Just open up into the open spaciousness of awareness. Just being aware of being aware. Space mingling. Just allow any boundary between self and other to dissolve. Just by allowing awareness to realize its boundlessness, this, like it's streaming out, flowing out, realizing the infinite nature of awareness. Gazing out, either with the eyes closed or open. Even with the eyes closed, gaze into the radiance and the spaciousness in which the radiance appears. Realizing that as no other as the experience of me. All pervasive, interconnected shared space. If you wish, join me for a refreshing breath. Relax attention, yet fully non-distracted. Don't be concerned about any movement of the mind when in full presence. Anything that can come into consciousness can be part of the meditation. By itself arising, by itself dissolving or liberating. While spontaneously bursting into being knowingly. relax a little too much, you might fall into distraction. So if your movement of your mind is particularly evocative, then you can just maybe set a theme, like what would it feel like if there were to be absolutely nothing wrong with us right now, or with me, or anything? What would it feel like if this very moment in my life is the perfect circumstance for my awakening? It always is. If in your open, spacious presence anything wishes to coagulate a little into form, let it just be a sweet curiosity, what it may be that will appear next into my mind's realm. Notice that curiosity can know curiosity. This is maybe the most profound Sochen practice of not interfering with the stream of experience, letting experience, sights, sounds and feelings and thoughts live and die on their own accord. And then this shifts our perception of the world and of ourselves. So allowing things to come and go in this open spaciousness is the flow of spacious liberation. And the freedom of our hearts is indeed subject to allowing the flow of life to be that open and free. And then allowing the trust to arise from knowing that of so many that have gone the awakened path, walked on the awakened path before, that when we allow the ease of letting things come and go, our hearts are indeed set free, and the tendency of appearance happens to be a flourishing of positive mind states. When you practice by yourself too, and you're in proper open spaciousness, see if indeed there is a tendency of more creative, healing thoughts, feelings, and emotions to appear. I know as the ever unfolding bodhisattva on your seat, your loving intent for all beings is getting more apparent and more profound. Maybe sometimes the little bit the difficult one is the one on your seat. So don't leave the one on your seat out of the equation. And just shine some appreciation back upon yourself and enjoy the goodness of your, let's call it effort or appearance in this space. Which includes the critical mind with like, oh, I could have been less distracted, and whatever limiting belief may arise partially or completely. Just realize that you being with us is not a small thing at all. And maybe some of this appreciation of who you are in this world from these practices and how you have been flourishing in your own way is something you have to shine some light on deliberately some more. Maybe while you're drifting off asleep, come into presence and just say thank you. I sure am grateful for your appearance in this space with us. So on behalf of all beings, thank you. Thank you so much. So let's give away all that goodness so we can make room for more goodness. Gewa di nurdu dak jokpa chempo drukyurnye drowa chikyang malupa de sala gopar shok. Through this virtue, may we swiftly realize and fully embody the natural great perfection, and that will bring all, without exception, to its complete realization. Jangchup semchok rinpoche, makyepanam kyegyorchik, kyepanyampar mepahadyang, gongne gongdu pelvar shok. May all beings everywhere, with whom we are inseparably interconnected, and who want and need the same as we do, may all be awakened, liberated, healed, happy, fulfilled, and free. May there be peace in this world and throughout all realms of existence, an end to war, violence, poverty, injustice, and oppression. And may we all together complete the spiritual journey, heart to heart, all together, all the way home. Love you very much. Look at all those sweet faces. So how did it go? Distracted, not distracted? Tell me something about your practice here or elsewhere, or your appearance in the world.
For me, less distracted today, despite the fact I have dogs barking and someone's going to come to the door in a minute. So
I remember you were reporting last week on distraction, so that's good.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's good to hear. So, and why do you think you were less distracted?
It's hard to say what puts you in a certain mindset, but maybe it was your words, the things that you were bringing forth, in your freestyle.
Sometimes things resonate a little bit more than others, and yeah,
Yeah.
I have that too. In my daily practice, it's like Well, today I don't know what happened, but that was a mess. And the critical mind just starts like banging and go like, "Easy now, I'm okay." You know, I mean, there's also a certain love we bring to the critical mind because it wishes to help us so much, right? Even fear is like, "Oh,
Working hard.
thank you for my defense mechanism to appear." Yes, Carol.
Oh, meditating today in a different space was was good for me. I was actually kind of close to the wall and the bottom of a picture that had the ocean on the bottom, and it helped me go beyond and beyond and beyond in terms of my awareness, especially I think facilitated by something you said early on, about I'm the awareness that gets to experience this life, or I'm not quite sure how you put it, but it made me aware that my awareness is big and this life is my way into things, but that my awareness and goes beyond that.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you. I don't want to pollute that with anything I have to say. But as far as something I said, it's like I never listen to a word I say, so it's great. I'm exaggerating a little bit. I do pay attention, but so yeah, so you were also out of your usual meditation space. So ultimately, we want to do those mixing practices of being present in all situations under all circumstances. So you put yourself a little bit in a different space, and I have a tendency to sit right here at my garden over there, and but so yeah, notice that even with that little bit of change, there was also a shift in the measure of your presence. So put yourself in more and more different, okay, and maybe difficult circumstances or more challenging circumstances for that to arise. It's that painting of the ocean. You guys showed us a painting once that Mel showed a painting once that he was gazing on.
Oh, yeah, that's different. This is, let me see if I can turn the thing around. Well, maybe I'll have to. This is, I was looking at just the bottom. I was looking,
A little higher.
let me see. Yeah, I was looking at that,
Mm-hmm.
like the yellow wall and the ocean with my eye is where my eyes fell, and I'm about 2.5 feet away from it. So there's really nothing else there. And in a way that I think it was useful because there was really nothing much to see. Um,
Well,
but it was also a kind of a calming, the ocean, the dark blue is a calming ground.
yeah, the blue. Yeah, and of course the ocean is a great metaphor, but and so ocean and waves, Milarepa's ocean and waves practice, and then he always is really clear too. But don't imagine an ocean. But if the ocean is actually appearing like it does with you, then then everything that appears is subject uh, to being part of our practice, right? So yeah, so always be careful that the gaze. So then we talk about the Sochen gaze. It doesn't get too narrow, but you said it's kind of filling your whole peripheral vision. So that's great. So yeah, try to keep. This is to me and everyone. Just keep remembering to open up wide. So there's no particularization. There's the all at onceness of experience and the space and the knowing as one inseparable whole. So it's 9 o'clock. I'm gonna be here till 10 past 9. So you can stay and you can tell us something or ask a question, or we can be quiet. But so
I have a little something. I
yes,
don't know if you can hear me.
yeah,
Hello?
very clearly.
Okay. So things have been a little frustrating for me lately. I'm trying to my mom has been kind of ejected from her assisted living facility. And so we're trying to bring her here and up to Massachusetts. And there's not a lot of clear cut pathway of what you should be doing next. So yesterday, um, my partner Zach was like, "Oh, are you going to do that meditation today?" And I was like, "No, I need to focus on this and this and this." And then it was like, "Wait a minute, that's exactly what I need. I need to just be watching this little frustrated mind." And so that was really lovely. I appreciate everyone who was there yesterday, and of course every day. But then this morning in the New York Times, there was also a wonderful article with the Webb telescope, James Webb telescope, with stunning images in this article. And it just was like, wow. So it's just a reminder sometimes when like just looking at these images were just incredible and just brought tears to my eyes and just a profound openness. So it was, even though like there's all this stuff happening, like it's like, wow, there's lots of other things happening out there, and so much beauty and so much wonder. So anyway, I'm just sharing.
Yeah, you're sharing beautifully. Thank you. Um, everybody's sharing so beautiful. So yeah, when you're talking about the incredible, complexity of bringing your mother back into the house and things like that, and having that is such intense appearance, if we want to call it that simple. And yet, then I talk about there's a tendency for the proliferation or the flourishing of positive mind states. Well, you really talked about that because, like, at the heart of that, you went like, no, no, I'm going to sit. I'm going to pay attention to the fullness of my mind now, or the or the all the difficult arisings. So there it is. That's the proof right there. Just notice that, like, oh yeah, that is huge. That is so big. That moment where you, because there were so many things you could be doing, right? There's so much to be done by you right now. There's so much change, and you can fill your whole 24 next hours with whatever needs to be done, but you chose to come into presence and just sit for a while. And now this will inform whatever you will be doing in your circumstances. And I have a hunch and a trust that it will be more loving. And yeah, so yeah, the James Webb Telescope, those images, that can be even a little overwhelming when that infinite space, all those billions of galaxies. It's like, okay, like, I mean, billions of stars was already something to deal with, but now billions of galaxies. Okay. Hey, Roberta.
I guess I have something,
Good
Timo.
morning.
Hi.
Roberta, you want to go first?
No, I was just going to say good morning back. I was delayed finding my unmute button, but
Good morning.
just feeling a lot of appreciation for this presence of each and every one of you, and just loved and needed this quiet this morning. And I was out walking. We just had some rain last night, so enjoyed seeing the dew and the rain and drops on plants, and while holding this beautiful space. So thank you, everyone.
Oh, it's nice to see you, Roberta. Roberta and
Thank
Michael
you.
have been with our group from when we were still in Burbank, and we were sitting there, and then we sit in traffic for like an hour and a half or something away from
Yeah.
Marina Del Mar or wherever you are in that area.
Right.
West side.
Right.
And that was beautiful. Thanks. That's nice to have you back.
Thank you. Go ahead, Glenda.
Hi, Roberta. It's lovely to see you and
Thank
everyone.
you.
You know, we talk about here in group about space mingling. And I go, yeah, okay. But I was, but to experience that is, yeah. So I'm reading in Lama Surya's book, Natural Radiance, the Ah mantra section. And in that section, he talks about on the exhale saying ah, and then just following that sound out, and that's mind mingling with space. And then I notice as the space will come back to my awareness, there's kind of like a cycle. But that really helped me. So his instruction is space is mingling with mind, and then space is mingling with awareness to awaken awareness, right?
Mhm.
But it's really cool. It works. It really, if I let go, relax, and the awe is the dissolving part of the form, to dissolve and relax, and then follow the sound. And even when my awe stops, I can silently, the awe sound will continue, and I just keep following it.
That's
And
right.
it's spacious, spacious, spacious. And that's our home. I go, what? that's our home.
And then the
Yay.
light bearer goes shimmer, shimmer, shimmer.
Yeah, it radiates in. Then the light radiates, and then it reabsorbs through the form and radiates again. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a nice cycle, isn't it?
Yeah. And there are different metaphors for the space mingling. That's one of the important ones, where the child metaphor, starts morphing with the boundless mother metaphor, isn't it, Tina? And and so that openness, that
Wow.
welcoming of that, there's always welcoming and openness, and it's like everything that arises, welcome. That's a great practice, right? Like, let it come, and it's like, don't like it, but all right then, welcome.
Well, you know what you said too, this meditation, what I've learned is the letting things come and go in my mind and identify them. That's a feeling, that's a thought, that's a distraction. Before, when I didn't have any space between the thought and feeling, I was in it, mingled. I was in that thought feeling. But now that there's some space and I could let them come and go, like you said, then I can appreciate humanity hasn't learned to let thoughts and feelings go. They grab them. And although sometimes I'll grab one or push it away, but then that's what I see. Then they've had a thought and they don't know they can let it go, and they grab it. And then here they are.
And because you know that space, it has become your responsibility to do it on their behalf.
Yeah. And let it be. Then I breathe out and let them be. And yes, well put. Oh yes, because that's coming and going too. Their image, their thoughts, that's coming and going too. For a second, I focused on it so I saw it, identified what was going on, but then let it go. Don't judge those little Buddhas. Boy, this is great.
And don't judge the Buddha on your seat either.
Yeah, Timo. Wow, this is marvelous. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
Having this space, another space.
Thank you for always participating and sharing so joyously.
maybe I'll say something.
Oh,
I want to make sure to let room for anybody to share, not just me. Hi, everyone. Like Roberta, I really appreciate each person. I felt such upwelling of joy. The thought, I want to kiss you all on the mouth, which is not really, but that's what came into my head. So, I don't know why. It's not, I don't know that I literally do. I mean, that would be maybe in these contagious days, but I just really felt a lot of joy today. And I also did notice some thinking. And so I wanted to ask you a question, Timo, because for those who don't know me, I have this mindfulness background where you're really very object-based, given an anchor for your attention. And so when I find myself a little busy, then I might ground myself with some sort of an object more. And then eventually I can sort of feel like I can let it open a little. Actually, I don't know how much to get into what I'm doing, whether that's helpful or not, but really it helps for me to just be open right off the bat. If I go right into some like focused stuff, I find it almost too tight. I'm wearing my wrong glasses, and so everyone's blurry, and that's even affecting how I'm communicating right now. But at any rate, so I find open a little bit, and then maybe like, okay, now it's a little bit too amorphous and I'm getting lost this morning, so maybe I can ground a little bit. And then I noticed, okay, I'm counting breath and I'm really feeling the breath as I'm counting it. And then I'm noticing thoughts about like, oh, I wonder if TM would be better, but I'm, so I'm noticing thoughts, but I'm still sort of counting. And then I'm thinking like, is there a slight bit of shame that I shouldn't be doing this? Like, here I am with this Dzogchen group. I shouldn't be doing any focused counting. I should just be like resting. Oh, look at that. There's shame. So all of this stuff is rising, right? But I have a question, like how much, because I kind of let people know when I teach mindfulness that you're your own teacher. You're really your own best teacher. So we can have whatever gurus, right? But it's really like, what is arising for us in the practice? We're kind of going to get to feel like, okay, this is helpful or this is not helpful, right? But there's this tiny bit of contraction that I'm probably doing this wrong. A lot, even after all this time, after many, many years. And then, oh, compassion for that, I'm doing this wrong. Okay, so what am I getting at? Should I never be counting? Should I give myself a break on this with the Dzogchen?
Well, so there's the human tendency for it to come up. Am I doing this wrong? I mean, that's like the one of my main themes when any limiting belief comes up, right? But what you said, you already answered your own question. I mean, you've been a long practitioner. You're good at pointing out awareness and mindfulness. So you are your own best teacher. You know what you need in that moment. So and yes, no, yes, no. Okay, you need. You can use like an object to kind of gather yourself, and then you can do co-arising mind or simultaneous mind, right? Awareness. I know how to be aware of being aware, and so you have the open awareness, while at the heart of it you let arise the concentration. So you don't oscillate into like what you call tightness or a small aperture. So you're still wide open, and within it you let arise the focus object, right?
Yeah.
So that's perfectly okay. And actually there is a practice with breathing in Mahamudra where you learn you do concentration practice on the breath, right? And the feeling of the body. We've done some of that in the past. And then you let that arise in the total sphere of being, into the boundlessness, and then it becomes what they call the king of samadhi. So these are all really valid practices, even in these traditions, non-dual traditions. So you were doing it perfectly, and indeed you already pointed out that you went like, oh, I'm maybe getting a little too tight. Well, that's it, and then you just, oh, I'm a little tight. You let go a little, and so you do. So I know in track shot, in the open, letting it come and go practice, you don't want to do anything, right? You don't do any adjusting, but sometimes we have to gather ourselves. So I gather myself, I do a bit of concentration practice, and then I let go into the openness, and then I bring in life, because I don't want to be an excellent meditator. I want to be a a happy, loving human being. This is what we're doing here. I don't care if you're a great meditator. I just want you to be happy and loving, you know? And then, okay, meditating is nice. That's something we do, and that puts some momentum on our kindness, and that's all. But yeah, so you can do a little bit of like, oh yeah, I'm a mess. I'm like, oh, you know, I bring it home, but then pretty quick you can just do it simultaneously, right? So you can hold on, and then you drop it if you want to, right? So.
Thank you. Yeah, I sort of get that, but I guess there's a like the doubt is always like how much is doing versus being. Like even when Glenda's talking about, following the sound, like that is very helpful, but that's some doing. And so there's a part of me that's always like any doing is bad with the Dzogchen, but maybe not. There's all sorts
No.
of times when there's techniques and there's like, right. Yeah. Okay.
So there's
So it's not do.
there's pure being and there is doing and being, right?
Mhm,
Because it's still coming. So ultimately, what is the measure of our success as the meditator is expressing our skillful means in the world, which includes a doing, And now it's informed. The doing is informed by what I was playing with in the beginning. The universe is manifesting on your behalf. Oh, beautiful. So that's what you do then. You have to manifest. You came into form. You're in this body in the world. You're not going to sit on your you're a mother and a teacher, and you also a yogi. All of that needs to be balanced, and you get good at the balance. So you're doing that in your practice too. Oh, it's a little too spacious, a little too space cadetty, because that's what I always say. We all be careful you don't become a space cadet. We get really good at like, oh, this is great. Yeah, that boundless sphere. Now come back in. They sent always a monk up on the mountain to the yogi in the cave. Hey, it's time to come down and start teaching that shit.
Thank you
So
very much, Tima. Thanks.
so that's what it is. You're just practicing manifesting in that open spaciousness, and yeah, you know what you're doing, so you're doing great. You know what you're not doing too. Well, so we're getting kind of here to the end. If you were holding back and left space for people, I definitely would like to hear from you, or we go to our day. What do you want?
I'm just going to say thank you to Tina, because you spoke to all of us, I'm sure, at some point or another. It's good to know you're not alone.
That was really important what Tina said, because we all have that, like, oh, I'm distracted. I'll do a little bit of, focus. But that's why I often say, especially in rooms where I'm kind of new to people, no matter what I say, whatever meditation you do in this space right now is fine. Just be with us, right? So, I mean, Tina has gone through a lot of practice and knows about these things, so she really knows. I think not everybody, if somebody's kind of new in the place, I want to go like, well, maybe you can follow me a little, but so that's then the teacher that has to balance the room and see where people are at and be intuitive about that. But really. So see if you can do that when you feel I'm really scattered. You bring the attention to the breath or wherever you're comfortable. Breath is kind of a good thing because we can talk about like King of Samadhi if that interests you. We can play with that where you have focus and open awareness at the same time. And so that's it. I got distracted because I feel I'm going over time. Most of us have to go to our day. So thank you very much. Love you.
Thank you, Timo, and everyone. Thank you.
Thank you all.
See you soon. Bye.
Thank
Have a
you.
lovely
Thank you,
day.
everyone.
Bye.